a little bit excited and ran out to meet her. And he said to the woman, "How is everything?" She said, "It is well." There are some things you just can't talk to other folks about. There are some things you got to say to only one. There are some things that others can't help you with. You see, young people, when your heart is all burdened, there's only one. There's only one when your heart is heavy. There is only one when you are spiritually dead. There is only one when shame and disgrace darken your life. There is only one when guilt rolls down the horizon of your soul like thunder. There is only one when reproach crashes down like breakers on a defenseless beach. There is only one when habits have become masters and have made you a slave. There is only one when your own conscience condemns you and everybody else bows his head in your presence. There is only one when you've done such stupid things your parents are ashamed of you. There is only one when society says you are worthless, not even worth the time of day. But thank God, in the words of the hymn, there's one. The blessed, blessed Jesus, he's the one. The woman had done all she could. She had nursed that boy even to the gates of hell. And her faith passed into the death chamber and dispensed the darkness and dread of that hour. Now it's up to the man of God, who in this analogy is a type of Christ. The servant took his staff and went running. And when he got to the place where the boy lay, he stretched the staff of the prophet over him, only to return, meeting the master on the way to say, "He is yet dead." The woman said, "Let the servant go if he pleases, but as I live, I will not leave unless you go with me." I want you to know Jesus will go with you. When your life is a mess, Christ will personally help you. He will not pass it off to some angel or to some prophet. When you're all in a mess, Jesus himself will come to your aid. Christ will not leave it to someone else. He will come personally. And when the prophet got there, the record tells us what he did. It says he put everybody out of the room. Everybody. And he shut the door upon them twain. Twain means two. We've come almost now to the moment of decision. And Jesus is trying to shut everybody else out of the room. You can't sit there now watching your boyfriend. You can't sit there now waiting on your roommate. You can't sit there now to see what the campus bully is going to say. It's just you and the Lord now. The prophet shut the door. Having done so and entering into prayer, the Bible says he did a strange thing. He stretched himself out upon the land, putting his eyes to the boy's eyes. When Jesus comes, you start seeing things his way. Put his mouth to the boy's mouth. When Jesus comes, your heart filled with the words of life. Put his hands to the boy's hand. When Jesus comes, you dedicate yourself to doing those things that are pleasing in his sight. Put his feet to the boy's feet. When Jesus comes, you go where he wants you to go, but do what he wants you to do. And then something happened. And it's almost strange in our Bible. It says that as the Lord stretched out through the prophet on the inanimate clay, suddenly he began to warm up. Some of you are so cold. Some of your services are cold. And we hide behind a term called respectability. Methinks that's just a part of the problem. When the Lord has done something for you, you warm up. And as he began to warm up, the record is suddenly he sneezed. Now that I've been trying to figure that. It just says he sneezed 7 times. And I thought about it, and I thought about it, and I said to myself, what happens when a man sneezes? And while I don't know all that a scientist might know, this I do know, that a sneeze comes about when one takes in large gulps of fresh air and it explodes out through his nostrils and his mouth. So this lad drank in large volumes of the oxygen of life, and expelled the carbon dioxide of death, and he came alive. He came alive. And the prophet walked out the door and said to the woman, go in there and see your boy. You've been